Hello, welcome to Road CC. Today I'm with Jamie from Envy and we have a first look. It is a special first look because we are the first people in the UK to see the new Envy G Series wheels, the G23 and G27, and they are the first gravel specific wheels from Envy.
That's right, Jack. What we have here is the G23. So this is our first gravel specific offering. As makers of really high-end road and mountain bike carbon fibre wheels and big fans of gravel riding, we felt we were really well placed to deliver a gravel specific wheel that really spoke to the needs of the discipline and extracted a lot more performance than was possible by repurposing a road or a mountain bike rim. The rims we have here, this is the G23 wheel set. So there are two models, the G23, which is 700C and has an internal width of 23 millimeters, and the G23 and the G27, which is 650B and has an internal width of 27 millimeters. The 23 is designed for 700C tires of 32 to 45, and we think the sweet spot is around 35 to 40 millimeters, which is one of the most popular sizes at the moment. The 27 is designed for mountain bike tires between 2 and 2¼ inches, and that's really for much chunkier gravel use.
That's huge, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really for riders who are prioritising sort of traction, comfort, and spending a lot more time off-road, more heavy-duty stuff, closer to drop bar mountain biking, or looking for something they're going to spend a very long day that's nearly exclusively off-road. The G23 with that sort of 35-40 millimeter tyre, it's a lot more performance focused, and this is for riders that are really looking to extract the maximum performance from their gravel experience. Whether that's competitive or simply enjoying riding up steep hills on gravel with the sort of high performance experience, high performance feeling wheel set that they're probably used to from their road bike.
Yeah, so Envy are renowned for high performance, you know, like racing, and a lot. I think the thing in the UK is, you know, maybe a lot of people have their gravel as it's an N+1 bike, but I think we're seeing more and more that people are like prioritising their gravel bike and building it up. So how do you feel Envy fit in to the gravel scene in that way? How are you going to persuade people they need you know, really top end wheel for their gravel bike?
That's a good point you make, Jack, that as people discover gravel, there's this kind of initial curiosity, and maybe you start out with a more affordable bike, and maybe it's the sort of third or fourth bike in your garage. And what we're really seeing, and kind of a curve that lots of us at Envy have been to ourselves, myself included, is that as you really quickly fall in love with gravel, it becomes your second favourite bike, or even your outright favourite bike. And at that point, it justifies spending more money on it. And we think lots of our customers buying the G Series wheels may already have our road or mountain bike wheels, and they're already really up to speed on on how our wheels can benefit their ride experience. It's easy to feel a bit skeptical to start with until you've tried them, and what we keep hearing over and over again is that, oh, I just didn't expect it to feel so good. And that's really what we're bringing to gravel, is that Envy ride experience. And we're doing that by finding the sweet spot, that kind of Goldilocks point in the rim structure. So we make some of the world's best, we think the world's best mountain bike and road wheels. If you repurpose either one of those for gravel, it's not going to be optimized. It can be good, but you're not going to have the best experience. What we've done here with the G Series is design a wheel from the ground up for gravel use that has virtually the strength of our mountain bike wheels. It's tested to our mountain impact standards. It's tubeless specific, which of course you need for gravel. It gives you the puncture protection, the rolling resistance, access to the best tyres. Yet they're also designed to be very lightweight and extremely compliant. And really it's the weight and the compliance where we see that real specificity for gravel. I nearly fluffed that word. And where you can see that most is in the shape of the rim. So compared to our other rims, the G Series is really quite distinct. It has a bell-shaped rim profile.
Yeah.
And this is the profile that, the shape that you end up with when the rim is pared back to the very minimum it needs to be to provide the high strength targets and to also provide the compliance that we're seeking while maintaining the high torsional rigidity that we want for performance. It's a difficult combination of goals to achieve, and that's why it took some time. It took a significant number of prototypes. Happily, the factory in Utah is based within some of the best gravel riding in the world. Lots of our staff, our test team, engineers, really into gravel anyway.
And these were launched at the Dirty Kansas last week. Right,
yeah, absolutely. We're a technical partner to Dirty Kansas, and chose that event as one of the most famous and high-profile gravel events in the US, in the world really, to unveil these new wheels. But before they got there, they'd done thousands of miles of testing being pounded around Utah's gravel roads. And that's how we got to this shape, with this bell profile that's a minimal rim shape to keep the weight down, to keep the compliance high, to give you that really nice feeling of riding a supple, light wheel that wants to climb. But with the optimized, slightly over 31 mil total width, to give the torsional rigidity, to support a large tyre, to enable us to have the wide 23 millimeter internal width on the 700C version, 27 on the 650B, and a really key factor that's part of the bell shape is the wide hookless bead technology, which is borrowed from our M series. We use two types of puncture protection for the mountain bike wheels. For the cross country and trail, it's wide hookless bead, which is the tubeless hookless bead that you can see here just between my fingers. So wide hookless bead is 4.5 millimeters across there compared to a more conventional 3 millimeters. What that does, it boosts impact strength by around 30%. It boosts pinch flap protection by in the region of 50 to 60%, to the point that using preferred supple tyres, so not something with sort of excessive amounts of sidewall strength, we haven't seen a single pinch flat since testing began using the wide hookless bead, testing of the wide hookless bead early in 2017. And that's across all of our gravel prototypes, all of the mountain prototypes, and then since the mountain production rims. The wide hookless bead means you can run your preferred gravel tyre, something that's light, supple, has a good feeling to it, maintains that climbing performance because it's very easy to throw hundreds of grams into a gravel tyre. And it means you can do so at an optimum tyre pressure. For a 40mm tyre on the G23 that we have here, we're recommending tyre pressures in the region of 25 to 35 PSI. For the 650B G27 rim with around a 2.1 inch tyre, we're recommending as low as 20 to 30 PSI. That's going to sound really low to a lot of people, especially road riders coming across the gravel. But once you try it with the right tyre supported by a rim with this optimal shape, what you find is an amazing ride quality on gravel, and actually it still rolls really well on tarmac, on asphalt, and that you've just got that real sweet spot feeling that you just want to ride all the time.
So we've got the low weight preferred tyres, not overly chunky or protected, and not having to worry about pinch flats anymore.
Absolutely. If your rim doesn't have the pinch flat protection that Envy brings to the game with the wide hookless bead, you're going to have to run a heavier tyre or risk having a higher occurrence of pinch flats, and pinch flats just suck. They ruin your day, they ruin your ride. You'll have to fit, just get covered in tyre seal into the side of the trail, fitting a tube. So you can fit tubes to these as a get you home measure. You have to do so with a tubeless specific tyre. You can't run a regular clincher, but you do have that option of getting home with a tube if you've, for instance, slashed a sidewall. But we're very confident that it's extremely unlikely you'll ever be able to pinch flat these, so long as you're running pressures sort of within those guidelines of around 30-35 PSI.
Great.
We should mention the weight. These are actually the lightest tubeless clincher wheels that Envy's ever made. and that's including our really light road wheels and our cross-country rims. The G23 in 700C that we have here, the rim weight is 330 grams. The slightly smaller 650B G27, the rim weight is 320 grams. And that builds up into phenomenally light wheel sets. With the Chris King hubs that we have here, this G23 wheel set is 1,342 grams. I've put this exact set on the scales myself and they weigh exactly that. This is a genuine figure.
So lighter than most road?
Lighter than most,
yeah.
what you'd consider climbing road wheel sets. When you're talking about tubeless clinchers, you can certainly have tubular wheels that are a little lighter for the road, but 1340 is a tubeless clincher. That's an extremely light road wheel, but these have the toughness, the durability for gravel use. And yeah, really we think they'll just be an absolute joy to ride on hilly off-road terrain.
Great. Cool. When will these be available in the UK?
They'll be in the UK from sometime later in July through Saddleback. Both versions available then with Chris King hubs.
Great. Right. Jamie, thanks very much for talking us through the new wheel set, and we'll see you next time.